Hi everyone, I'm Josh, and welcome to Josh Wright Piano TV. We're trying out a new microphone placement. Let me know down in the comments. I will be checking those for the next day or two to see if you like this mic placement a little bit better. A lot of you were saying that I was having to talk a lot louder to compete with this big piano, and so hopefully this helps. Let me know down in the comments. Today we're going to be discussing the importance of practicing in a medium tempo. We talk so much on this channel, and any quality teacher is going to tell you that you need plenty of slow practice. And we all know that we actually need fast practice before a performance, so that's kind of a given. But I've noticed that a lot of my students, and even I'm thinking back to the days when I was at the University of Michigan doing my doctorate, and my teacher, Logan Skelton, said, "How much are you playing through this each day?" Because I would practice really, really hard. I remember I was playing Chopin Third Sonata, final movement, really intense. And these really intense little passages, and every now and again I just have this little hiccup or hesitation that I hadn't had in my practicing. And he said, "What's going on there?" I was like, "I don't know, it's just maybe nerves." And he said, "How much are you playing in full tempo?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing it the correct way. I'm just practicing my slow practice. I'm doing rhythm work. I'm doing isolating my issues. I'm doing, line by line or measure by measure or add on or, all the different methods that we go over on this channel." And he said, "Josh, how much are you playing through it?" And I was like, "Okay, maybe once a day. I don't know." And he's like, "It should be several times a day." Now, most students take that advice and all they do is play it over and over and over again. That's terrible as well. If you just practice something in full tempo, you're actually going to create a whole new host of issues. Even if you bring the piece up to a really solid level, if you only practice at full tempo, that's going to disintegrate over time. Similarly, if you only practice slow tempos and then jump to a fast tempo, you're not going to have that necessary bridge to be able to successfully keep all of the detail work that you were doing in slow tempo in that faster tempo. So I've been talking a lot with my students lately because I make sure that they're practicing all the effective ways, breaking things down, isolating the hands, doing rhythm work where needed, doing the add-on method, doing cycling, doing inserting gaps, all of these methods that we do, but they still seem to struggle. And I'm like, okay, this has to be a reflection of my teaching. So I say, "How much are you practicing in a medium tempo?" And they said, "Not very much at all. I usually jump from slow to fast." So I had a few of them. This was a pretty prevalent issue with two of my students 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I said, "I want you to do a heavy amount of medium tempo practice. Still do a little bit of slow practice and a little bit of fast practice, but that medium tempo can be the sweet spot because you're still able to be going slow enough to process all the detail work. How are you going to voice things? How are you going to shape things? Any articulation, any pedaling, but you aren't going so slow that it's unrealistic for your final tempo, and you're not going so fast that those things might be passing you by and you might be playing them quite ineffectively." So let's take a look at this Bach invention, two-part invention, number 8. I'm going to be doing a pro practice on this in the coming week or two. Full tutorial with all the fingerings and everything, but I just wanted to demonstrate this concept with this, and this is a brand new piece for me. I've worked on it for a few days, really loving it. I don't play a whole lot of Bach, and that should change. So this would be maybe a really slow tempo that you're learning things in. And by the way, slow tempi are subjective, so this could be a slow tempo. The one I just played for you, though, around here, that is about as fast as I would go in a slow tempo. When you bring it up to a full tempo, and again, keep in mind, I've been working on this for 3-4 days here, so sorry. Okay, that you might be having a harder time putting in maybe that descending sequence diminuendo if you wanted to do a diminuendo there. Or you might start blurring together your slurs a little bit, or your staccatos a little bit. Or your voicing might be terrible. So if you want to bring out this. Those details might escape you in that tempo. And a fast tempo in this could be there. I personally don't like to take like prestissimo, you know. I think you lose a lot of the character of the piece if you do that. So you might think, well, there's not that much of a difference between slow and fast tempi, but let me show you a nice medium tempo. Especially if you were to isolate a small patch like that, a little small portion. Okay, and then I am able to check everything in that tempo, especially when I take that small piece, because I'm not overwhelming my brain with too much information. I have a little 3-year-old, and she is the cutest thing in the entire world, but she loves playing the piano, and she has a mind like a sponge. She memorizes these little Shel Silverstein poems and recites them for people, all animated. I'm just amazed that she's able to even do that. So she'll say, Dad, teach me Star Wars. Teach me, she can even play like the Harry Potter theme. And she does this crazy fingering where she goes 3-4. It's adorable. But yesterday she said, teach me Star Wars. So she got this just fine. And then I said, okay, let's do this piece. She could not do it. So I said, can you do this? And she could do that. And then I said, can you do this? And she got that. And then stringing those together took her a little while to do. And she has tiny hands. She could probably reach a fifth, you know? So she's jumping up to that. So that was a little challenging for her. The reason I bring that up is your brain can only process a certain amount of information. Now, they've done a lot of studies on this saying your brain can process 7 pieces of information at a time. That's why phone numbers are 7 digits long. However, once you've learned a piece, once you've done it slow tempo, once you've got some hand independence going on, and maybe you can put one hand on autopilot, well, you don't have to be so focused that you're not going to be able to process it even in a medium tempo. You'll be able to start going on autopilot and think about bigger things like the voicing, like the shaping, like probably not doing rubato here in Bach, maybe a little breathing, but can I really shape that? And rather than just being big, what if we let into that a little bit? And a little bigger level, a little smaller level, softer level, and then... Okay, so that is something that I would urge each of you to do. And I've actually been doing that a lot in my own practicing. And it seems to help. Medium tempos give you somewhat of a realistic rendering of what it's going to feel like in fast tempo, but it's still slow enough to be able to process and remember all of the detail work. Again, another little concept that I want to bring up with playing through your piece in full tempo once it's performance ready. You will notice that over time, you will start to develop a confidence with that. I have some students who get super sick of a piece after, 2 or 3 months. Other students want to play pieces for years and years, and it's like, okay, it's time to move on. You want to make sure after you've got a piece to a performance tempo that you actually enjoy all the fruits of your labor, that you actually enjoy playing it through quite often. And that is a separate skill. I have a whole video on this. Performing is a separate skill to get good at performing, because a lot of people say I worked and worked and worked. I did my slow, medium, fast tempo practice. I've done all of the proper practice methods, but then I'm messing up my performances. that's just a little bonus tip at the end of this video. Go ahead and practice performing. I like to give myself, if I'm really nervous for a performance, 10 solid performances in order to feel ready. That's what I did previous to this recent live stream. Now, those were pieces that I played for only 3 or 4, maybe 5 months. I've just been working on them this year as a completely new program aside from the first Chopin Ballade. And that was really challenging. So even then, I still didn't have enough seasoning with those pieces that I felt that the performance went as perfectly as I'd wanted it to. There was still some little mistakes here and there, but overall it went really well because I was so nervous that I was diligent enough to do those performances. Once you have seasoned repertoire, sometimes you're going to feel like, okay, I can kind of get by with maybe one practice performance, and then maybe it doesn't go so well. So I would urge you as well, even if you have seasoned repertoire, to put in those performances along with this medium tempo stuff we've been discussing today. If any of you have any questions, my email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. I am limiting the number of emails I'm able to respond to just due to the extreme time constraints between all the videos I make, the courses I have online, and all of my private teaching, as well as my performing and practicing. So thank you for your understanding if I'm not able to answer all of your emails. Additionally, I will leave a few links in the description below. One of them is for a free webinar containing 10 of my favorite practice tips. If you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend you go check that out. These are tips that I've received from master teachers around the world and also from discoveries I've made while practicing. Additionally, I will leave 2 links for my paid courses and a 4th link for my kit, which contains all the gear that I use to make these videos. Have a great week. Good luck in your practice sessions.